presenting on his time at the Massachusetts State House.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Alexander Siegelman. I was a Capstone intern at the Massachusetts State House, and I like to talk about how government resources can be influenced by ordinary citizens. And this is a question I was searching for because I'm very interested in politics, and I'm very interested in how regular people like you and me can get involved. Another quick side note here, this flag right here is the Newton City flag. I found this at the State House in a room called the Great Hall, which is a room filled with flags, and I thought it was really unique because it makes Newton stand out. So another thing, okay, whatever. All right, in that case, something else that I made is a little word cloud. This is really interesting for me because I got to see and I got to make something that really classifies what I've done. So the words in bold, like Kay Khan, who is my boss. She's a representative of Newton. Beacon Hill, where I worked. Intern, my technical position. And the MBTA, which I took on Thursdays, which was very fun. So before I go on, I'd sort of like to talk about a couple of words that really are complicated for everyone to understand, even for me, before the job. So letters to constituent, letters of testimony, and lobbyists. How many of you have ever heard of a lobbyist? Oh, wow, never mind. I don't have to explain that one then. All right, so in that case, letter to constituent is a letter responding to a person that is in your district or a person that is responsible for putting you in power. And they typically write to you on issues they're concerned about or issues that they want to see passed. And in response, the office of the representative typically writes back to them, either congratulating or responding to them, making them feel sure that this is going to happen or we're going to do this. Lastly, a letter testimony is a formal letter that's written and communicated to and from other members of the State House. And it really just declares the position of the representative or the senator. And those two letters are mostly what I was working on. And so I just wanted to share that with you. So for whom did I work for? This little blinking light right there is the 12th Middlesex District, which is where we are. Massachusetts has many different small districts, many different representatives, about 538 to be exact. KCON represents about 80,000 people. Specifically, this is her district right here. This is the 12th Middlesex District. And so basically, if you live within this, I would be working for you. To point out some more landmarks, I'm going to call my friend Lightning McQueen over here. So he's going to drive along the Mass Pike. And this blinking star right here is Newton North High School. So I was really involved in the local community, and that actually got me really excited. So what did I do day to day? I like to categorize it in 3 different ways. So I wrote, I spoke, and I engaged with stakeholders. Although the engaging with stakeholders is sort of all involved because you need to work with people to help something pass. I wrote letters of testimony, letters to constituents, as well as fact sheets. So fact sheets are just research pages on a particular bill that was going to be passed into law. I spoke with lobbyists, with other state representatives, and with other staffers, which are members of an office. And that was a really unique experience for me and really got me excited because I experienced a hands-on internship where I could experience the real world of politics. And another thing that I made for this presentation to better understand my office is a hierarchy. So on the top, we have Representative Kay Khan. Right below her is my boss, Jesse Brunel. So I worked with her day to day. I would see Representative Khan in meetings, and I'd go around with her to events. But Jesse is directly who I would answer to. Amani was our communications director. And so I did a little bit of work for her in the world of Twitter. She would publish my drafts of tweets, and she would actually have the final say in what gets sent out. This is very important to the politics world, as we all know from 2016, because you can have a huge platform just from Twitter. I can't lie about that. And so my other fellow coworkers here, Deputy Chief of Staff / Research Director, Emily, I was very close with her when I was writing these fact sheets because she literally knew everything and just about had every single fact on every bill. So before she would go into meetings with Representative Khan, she would have everything literally laid out for her. And so she would know it going into the meeting, and then she would present on these issues. Legal counsel Lisa Rosenfeld is unique to Representative Kahn's office because Representative Kahn was also a chairwoman. So she was the chairwoman of the Joint Committee of Children with Disabilities, Children, People with Disabilities, and Families. I know it's a mouthful right there. And so next, I'd sort of like to talk about my experience in the office. Again, wonderful experience. Would recommend it, 10 out of 10. When I started working in the office, I worked with my chief of staff, Jesse. I would identify what the office needed, and they would work with me to figure out what I like to do. So if you couldn't tell, I like speaking, I like writing, I like doing all the bureaucratic stuff that we all hear about on TV, so I would do that with my office. However, when the days were a little slow, like on Monday, when we weren't doing too much, as Nathan knows, we would really, I'd balance what the office needs, and I would help out with what other people needed. So whether it be writing fact sheets, drafting tweets, helping with Representative Kahn even bring her bag up to her meeting. Just small things like that really made the experience more fun. And another thing I like to talk about is the parking ride share. So on Mondays I carpooled with Nathan over here. I had a lot of fun. It was a really fun experience, and I got to know Nathan much better, which was really nice. And then after work, when I dropped him off at home, I'd often receive feedback about my performance and see how I could improve.